Hello, my name is Hiliu Ibrahim Ali and I'm the CEO of Kambil Floristry and Gardening. We are a flower shop that provides floral arrangements for all occasions, so birthdays, weddings, events, and we also have a concierge service that plans mini proposals and mini birthdays. Okay, so basically in 2015, I wanted to start a business. I wanted a source of income other than my parents. So I wanted to start doing something while I was still in school. And I started researching the fastest growing industry businesses in Nigeria. And at the time, I found the fastest growing industry was the wedding industry in the whole of West Africa. And so I broke it down, all the things you need for weddings. And either catering, I couldn't do decor, I didn't have the capacity. So all these things, it came down to me finding the idea of providing flowers for weddings. And from that idea, it kind of led to just owning a flower shop, and that's what we do now. How did I raise capital? In the beginning, I didn't need much capital, so I just used some of my savings. It didn't need much capital to start the business, but then as we've started expanding, we do need capital, and it's probably one of the biggest challenges I've faced. And I'm sure other entrepreneurs would agree with me that raising capital is hell. Like, I don't know. I don't even have the answer to tell someone how to raise capital. My biggest push would be my fear of failure and disappointment. So I've seen what failure looks like, and I don't want to see it again. So that's my biggest push. So every time I feel like giving up or I'm facing a challenge, I just kind of remind myself, I ask myself, do you want to fail? Do you want to go back to that place? And my answer is no. So I keep going. Generally in life, what drives me crazy is gray areas. I hate uncertainty. I need a yes or a no, a black or white. And running a business in Nigeria, there's never black or white. It's always gray. Like you're not certain of anything. So for example, we bring our flowers in. We're not certain that the flower is going to leave its current location to get to us at 3 p.m. If it's a 3 p.m. flight, it will leave that location at maybe 9 p.m. So there's no certainty. You're not sure of anything. 2016, I ran my business from home. So we keep flowers in a cold room. But back then, what I was doing was keeping flowers in my mom's kitchen, in the fridge. So my big break first big break was when I bought myself a fridge, an industrial fridge. That was my first big break. Second big break was moving from home into a shop where we are now, Celebrations. So moving there, it opened me to a wider market, customers I wouldn't have ever reached being at home. I met in Celebrations. So that was my first big break. My worst day was my first Valentine's Day. First Valentine's Day in the business, not in general. That day, I had no idea what I was doing. I was short-staffed. I was working from, I think, 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. So imagine getting an order for flowers and you're sending it out at 11 p.m. Something that should have been delivered at 1 p.m. but I only sent it out at 11. It was the worst day ever. But thank God, it was a learning experience. So I wake up pretty early, unfortunately. I've started doing yoga every morning. So I do yoga, breakfast, and then head to work. Occasionally have lunch in between with my sisters or friends, then come back home. For me, I don't work well under pressure. So when there's a lot of pressure, I just take a step back. So even if it's mentally, I just take a step back, collect myself, gather my thoughts, because I found that acting under pressure does not give you the best results. It usually ends up for me in regrets. I start thinking, I should have done this. What if I waited and did this way? So I find that it's best you just take a step back and come back to it when you're collected. My secret advantage is my support system. So my support system made up of my family, my friends, and my staff, especially my staff. For quite a long time, I was running my business away from the business. I wasn't in Abuja, where the business is. So I relied heavily on my staff. Without them, we wouldn't be here. I'd like to say nothing can make me end it, because I believe I've come so far and I have a long way to go, God willing, but at the same time I'm quite realistic. So if it's no longer viable, if I'm running a loss, it's a business, it's not a hobby. So if I'm running a loss, I'm going to be realistic, and it's not for me. Okay, so for startups, I think the advice for someone wanting to start a business, the advice from me is do not wait. Like, what are you waiting for? Do not procrastinate, because you can't keep saying, oh, I need to gather this, I need to do this. Just start. Just start. Like, if you say you're waiting for something, you keep on waiting. For example, there's something I'm doing now. I'm expanding for Kambil. It's not been easy expanding, but I'm glad I started.